Welcome to Untamed Blossoms, the podcast where we celebrate the untamed journey of womanhood. Here, we tell the stories of incredible women who have embraced their authenticity, inspiring others to do the same.
From entrepreneurs to artists, activists to adventurers, we share triumphs, challenges, and the beauty of self-discovery. These are the stories of women blazing their own trails, breaking free, and blooming unapologetically.
Join us to connect, be inspired, and celebrate the power of women's stories. Together, let's rewrite the rules and embrace our wildness.
Welcome to Untamed Blossoms. I'm your host, Amanda Riley.
And I'm Cristi Riley. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Time flies.
Dude.
We are done with all of our scheduled guests for this year. And it's September.
Season 2.
Season 2 we're scheduling out now, which is pretty crazy.
Season 3.
Season 3. Our wrap season 2, season 3. So this will be the second episode you're listening to about the 300 things list. And as you know by now, we are going on this journey through November and December.
Yes.
To walk you all through really thinking about the things that you want to do in life.
Yeah.
Bucket list seems really daunting and seems like big things. And this list is meant to break those things down. So
yeah. A roadmap, if you will, to what fills your cup, fills your heart, fills you with a sense of adventure, things you want to do and accomplish. So, you know, we've talked about this before. Women have a tendency to give of self pretty quickly. And so this will be hopefully a document that you can come back to and remind yourself when you have a free weekend, which I'm coming up to. My husband is going on a big fishing trip that I want nothing to do with a bunch of dudes up in Michigan, which is great, but it's going to leave me with a bunch of days to myself that I'm going back to my list and being like, what do I want to check off my list?
And I will tell you the interesting thing about these lists are when I sit down to write them, I have two things. Then at like 3 a.m., I wake up, have to pee. I'm like, oh my God, I have another thing. Right. And so I think that's what's really cool about this too, is even if you're like, I don't have a lot of time, look at the list, look at the category. A's is wealth, lifestyle, and legacy.
Right.
Just do one or two.
Yeah.
Get your wheels a spinning.
Yeah.
Start noodling,
yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
Come back and add things as it comes to your mind.
You can Google lists too. Like Google will give you some lists of things if you're looking for some inspiration. I did that several times just to see if anything sparked. It wasn't necessarily what it said made me, but I was like, oh yeah, we kind of forget that we have these interests in things. And so using other tools or having a conversation with your friends or your family to be like, man, I'm stuck. Throw some ideas at me. And I think when people start throwing them at you, and there was one day where everything that Google suggested to me, I was like,
none of that.
So sometimes it was helpful and sometimes it wasn't, but it does make you really mentally walk down the road of, is that really something that I'm interested in? No.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe, and so I don't know how you did it, but I'm keeping my list on my phone. So that if I am randomly, our phones are never far away. If I'm randomly like hit or struck by something, or I hear something on a podcast or in a book or in conversation, I can be like, oh, I can add that to my list.
And, I love a good Google Doc.
Yeah.
Google Drive.
Oh, yeah.
My lifeline. I have the Google Docs app. So it's so nice because if I'm on my computer or if I'm on my phone, like anywhere that I have internet access, I can log into my Google account and just pull up my list and add them because it will strike you at the weirdest times.
Correct. So those of you who like pen and paper, I'm here with you. I also love pen and paper and lists. But I have found that for this project, having it digitally on something that I have with me all the time is really helpful because if any of you are like me, my memory's not so great these days with the menopause brain. So, I'll think of something and be like, oh, that's my list. And if I'm not close, if I don't put it on my phone right then, later I'll be like, what was that thing I need to put on my list?
And I know that we talked about this too, but I would love to at the end of the year display it somehow. And there's lots of different ways
Mhm.
you could do that. I know that the gentleman that started this displayed his like in a poster,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Um, but I think there's a lot of creative ways you could do that. You can vision board with using your list without even
Yeah.
putting the things on there, but let be
Yeah.
your inspiration. But this is we just had I know by the time this airs, it will be November, mid-November. Um, but we just had the fall equinox. So the balance of light and dark just happened, and we will start descending into the darkness and
Mhm.
rest.
Yes.
We literally built our podcast this year to go with the flow of the seasons
Yep.
versus probably what most other people do. We knew we wanted the time to rest and to have meaningful conversations. All of our conversations are meaningful, but
Right.
just a restful, stress less
Right. Season.
last few months of the year, even going
Yeah.
into the first two. January is not the time
Right.
to start brand new things. So our
Right.
hope is that you finish these by the end of December, and then
Yeah.
starting in January, when you start thinking about what next year wants to look like, you have, as you said, a
Yep.
roadmap to doing some of those things. So
I love that. I love that. Spending January, February as you head into spring, planning.
totally.
Planning for what you're gonna do with that list, and it might inspire your family vacations for the year, it might inspire girlfriend trips,
Yeah.
it might inspire,
New
signing up for an
habits.
art class while
Yeah.
it's gross outside and you don't have anything else to do. I mean, that's really what I was thinking in a lot of my that I've done, for there's one that's artistic expression. It's exactly that. I'm like, this winter, I'd really like to, as we have the time, right, to dive into maybe a class or more time to paint or things that are more
Right.
restful, relaxing, meditative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love, if you don't mind, to go into kind of my descent into this list and
Okay.
what happened and the twists and turns it took.
Yeah. Again, we're
So,
talking wealth,
yeah,
lifestyle,
legacy.
and legacy.
Immediately, I think of Batman. I don't I don't know why, but all of those things reminded me of Batman. I was like, Gotham. We are in Gotham. Um, so it just was interesting
Of
because,
course you did.
I
Fair.
never can be chill about anything, right? So like Batman, what would he do saving the earth? It's too much. It really the first thing that comes to mind is, why did he make all this money and save money and have money in the bank and then put everybody in my family through colleges? And that is the first thing that comes to mind, which is really big.
Yeah.
And the list is 38 things,
Right.
37 things, 38 for this one. I forget
Yeah.
how many is on this one.
Right.
So that's a really, really big one. I'm like, that
Right.
doesn't make any sense. And so I started really, really thinking about legacy. And all that kept coming up for me was like money and like status,
Mhm.
not anything else. And I think it's probably because I don't have kids right now. So it was just hard. But then it made me noodle,
Yeah.
right? It made
Right.
me noodle, it made me think. And I stopped thinking in that aspect and started thinking, what do I wish I had from my grandparents and great grandparents? Like, what knowledge,
Mm.
what things that they did that I know
Yeah.
about they did that I wish I had?
Mhm.
And that actually was so helpful to me
Nice.
because my grandmother was insanely creative, like
Yeah.
insanely creative. And
Right.
she loved books and she loved cooking and she loved doing ceramics and she
You've
was
spoken a lot about
so,
her that you think a lot of
yeah.
your endeavors have come from her.
Totally.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things I haven't tried that I
Yeah.
would love to do that I feel like she did.
Right.
I didn't know my great grandmother, I knew her in a very specific way. I didn't know until probably the last like 5 years that she did astrology charts and literally hand wrote out charts for
Right.
people, like the
Well,
circle,
because
and
that's what they did
plotted
before the
them.
technology was able to do it for them. They plotted them. It
If you
was
would have met her, Christy,
insane.
there's no way you'd have ever thought that she ever did that.
Wow, that's cool.
Every time he was here, she'd be like, "Well, probably the last time you're gonna see me. I'm gonna be dead next time." And he'd be like, "Cool, cool, cool." She just had nothing. There was nothing of her at my age that I knew her that I would ever assume she
Yeah.
would have done. And now I have all these books from her sister, my great aunt, my grandmother's sister, her daughter, my great aunt. She gave me all of these astrology books, all of these things. And I thought, you know what? The one thing I want to make sure my legacy is that people know who I was know what I believed in as in terms of astrology and in terms of human design and birth charts. All of these things are really important, and tarot. Like, I want people to know that about me, and that be my legacy, is that I had a very close, intimate relationship with that and that sort of energy work.
Right.
I wanna make sure that that doesn't get lost after me. So
Yeah.
that was one big realization I had.
And that it's in your family. It's in your
Totally,
lineage, right? And so
totally.
any child, whether it's yours or not, right? So
Mhm.
you have nieces and nephews. If anybody ever and maybe you'll have children someday, but that you will be able to give them that permission through
Totally.
you as an example
Yep,
so it doesn't have to be your straight lineage, right? Like and it could be friends. It could be friends as kids. You're going to be an
yeah,
auntie to a lot of people
yeah,
probably, right?
totally.
That as your friends have children and stuff. So it doesn't necessarily have to be,
Yeah,
and that's what I say for all the ladies out there is that there's more and more women choosing not to have children these days, and that doesn't mean I thought it doesn't mean you won't have legacy because you do.
well, that's
Your
why
legacy
yeah,
is your legacy. It's not I immediately don't think of Batman. I immediately think of wealthy people. That was
Batman was really
he
wealthy,
was really wealthy. I just immediately thought
the family.
that's just for rich people,
Yeah,
right? Like
totally. Well, that's
legacies
why it's
means that you have trust funds and generational wealth and things that you leave behind. Your legacy is
yes.
something you leave behind. And I was trying to get inspiration from my husband, and he didn't know I was trying to get inspiration from him. And I said, "Hey, what do you want your legacy to be?" He's like, "I don't need one." Listen, people, you will have a legacy.
Yeah.
You
Whether
w
you
th
want to outlive
whether
one or
you
not.
wanna have one or not, you
Yeah,
will have one, and
yeah,
so, you can either choose to be cognizant of that and curate it,
right.
or you can just be like,
Let it happen.
"That was my so and so, and he was a whatever," and, like, you will be remembered by those of you close to you, at least for a little while. That will be your legacy.
Yeah.
And it may only be a couple of generations, right? Like, within 2 generations, you're forgotten. And I think that's an interesting
Mhm.
mental capacity to go through, right? And people get really bogged down on, well, the plots and I think it's funny, like, graveyards to me are comical in some ways, not because of the gravity of them, but because, like, I bet you that 90% of the grave sites in here, nobody knows who they are anymore.
Right. Yeah,
Right? Like, you are forgotten and nobody's gonna visit those grave sites within 2 generations is
right.
statistically proven, right? Like,
Yeah,
that you might go to your grandparents, but you're probably not gonna go see your great-grandparents' grave, and you're not right? And so then it just starts to become less and less of a place that somebody is going to go and do. So, for me, legacy was only for rich people, and I had to kinda get my head wrapped around that no, legacy is about how people remember you.
mhm,
How they picture you after you're gone, how you made them feel while you were here, and what do you want that to look like,
right.
right? And so, although the list started the same for me as money-driven
Mhm.
things, it very quickly went to other things,
Yeah,
right? And you have a very steep history. I want to be the one who sort of has broken my family lineage of a lot of trauma-based things.
mhm.
So there was that, right? Is like it ends with me.
Yeah,
It ends here.
mhm.
My family, my children, my grandchildren, like there was a lot of that, right?
Yeah,
That I don't want that to be a part of our lineage anymore,
yeah,
right? And so I want to be that gap stop. And all of that, all of the women in my history have not had a lot of choice, and even my mother didn't have a lot of choice when we were young, right? And so that's fairly new in our country. And so I had to really think about that, like what they tolerated and what they the the amount of trauma that they encountered and continued to encounter because they didn't have a lot of choice.
right.
So a lot of mine was taking advantage of the newly found privileges that we find ourselves to have and hopefully to keep depending on currently what's happening. But I believe we worked hard for that, and we're going to continue to have that. And it was an interesting mental
Yeah,
circus in that way for me.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really interesting too because creativity, I know, is a different category, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
I think it's actually the next one, creative projects and
Right.
artistic expression. That's the next week's
Yeah.
topic. But what I found interesting about thinking about legacy is the easiest way is to show up authentically and create while you're here.
Yeah.
Like create.
Yeah.
Like, there's all those trends on TikTok, like don't be afraid to be cringe, or like people think of the millennial generation is the most cringe generation. I don't know if you know that.
No.
Um, I think it's because we're all huge, just like nerds. Like, and we're still like, we're hip, we're cool. We had a lot of trauma in our early years, but we're fine. And we did have the internet, now we do, and now it's weird, now we're here. And so people always like give millennials a pretty hard time about how cringe we are. But we were the last generation to be able to go to college or a dance and no one taking videos of us and doing all
Right.
these things. A lot of people just say, just make the damn video, just do the thing.
Yeah.
And it really got me to this podcast. Like, this is our legacy. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
it will
yeah.
be here as long as the digital platforms exist, no
Yeah.
matter what. Like, we're not going to ever, even if we decide to wrap it up one day,
Yeah.
we'll always have a digital footprint out there. Like, this is our legacy. People will be able to hear our voices
Yeah.
as long as there's a YouTube, as
Yeah.
long as there's
It took me a
Spotify.
long time on my list to get to Untamed Blossoms. Isn't that funny?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That was like my first one when I got past
Yeah.
the I don't have any money. It was, oh shit, I already have built one. Like, I have 2
Yeah.
seasons of a legacy already
Yeah.
that literally anyone
It's
can
true.
tap into, and they'll be able to hear our voices
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
That's really fucking cool.
It's very fucking cool.
And whether, we stay at this level of stardom or if we rocket to where I believe we will be, it doesn't matter because
Yeah.
people will be able to access this, and that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Anything that you can do to show up artistically in this world, people find drawings from people
Mhm.
so many years later, poems,
Yeah.
books, like recipes. Think about all those things that you can create
Right.
that someone can stumble upon. And
Yeah.
that's only if you feel comfortable to put yourself out there and be authentic, to
Yeah.
write something down, to put a voice in a video recording out there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Okay, let's read some from our list.
Okay.
We'll give you guys some examples of things that we came away with.
Yep.
Um, one of mine was to be able to care for my aging parents if needed.
Love that.
Um, whether that be financially, physically, whatever, being able to do it here on the land. That was one
Yeah.
of mine. Yeah.
I love that.
Go ahead. We'll go back and forth.
Donate to environmental groups.
Yes. Yes.
I have a strong theme. I'll just share a couple, so they're all the same thing.
Yeah.
Really working towards clean energy using
Mm.
natural products.
Yep.
I think this earth is something that stresses me out, and the way we're treating it and all the legislation that continues to be passed is really, really scary for me. So I would love part of my legacy to be about being a good steward of this earth and protecting it as much
Yeah.
as I can.
Yeah. Mine was, I have several of those like that too. In the same lines, have enough financial freedom that we can support the causes we believe in generously.
Yeah.
Create a family trust, which I'm in the middle of. I won't go into money ones. Those are boring.
Boo.
Well, I mean, having so many, income generating things into retirement so that you don't have to worry about it, and that our kids don't have to financially worry about taking care of us, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I put in one of mine how much I wanted to sell the restaurants for when it was time. Like, I put a number to it to give it real energy, Let's see. Financial freedom. Raise children who are kind, self-aware, self-loving, and who are resilient. Mine are.
Yeah.
Which is great, and continue that. Be a strong matriarch of my family. Keep us loving and supporting each other with respect and divinity, even in disagreement.
I love that.
Plant a food forest, which is part of what's happening in the backyard on our land, and grow our own food. Donate all organs that can be used by someone upon my demise.
I love that.
Like, continuing to support somebody that way. Build family traditions that span generations.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That actually, something similar on my list was inspired by that, and our friend Carrie from the gym. So one of mine is creating mutual aid and family planning.
Yeah.
So how do we make sure that people, whether it be your kids or my other brother's kids, like hopefully my kids, like how do we make sure that they have some sort of fun that they can help each other out if things get hard and it's not
Yeah.
falling on one person's feeling like stressed to help the other person out.
Yeah.
Like, how do we make sure that the family comes together, and Carrie's a great example of that, and her family of making sure that they have support for one another that's just
Yeah.
built in
Yeah.
to how their family operates, and everyone puts money towards this one spot so that
Yeah.
everyone can be supported. I think that's like a huge lift of burden, especially for the
Mm.
women in the families. Like,
Yes.
how do we get that weight off the future generations' backs of who's gonna be able to do this? Who's gonna be able to financially support or physically support? Like, well, how can we start now making sure that the youngest people in the family have an egg to pull from it and can start a tradition or generational habit of supporting one another?
Right. And I this is a great example of what this is for, you guys. This is a great example in my opinion. Carrie basically just flippantly mentioned that they have a family fund that they
Yeah,
all contribute to every year. And they use theirs not only for scholarships for the kids who choose to go to college, but also as a big, they really believe that getting together once a year, they do
really.
their family reunion, right? And so, and if you can't afford it, it's always at a hotel. It's for a whole weekend. It's not just for 4 hours. It's true quality time for a
Yeah,
whole weekend to get together with people.
yeah,
And if you can't, and it's catered and, all the things, but the fun goes towards the food and it goes towards rooms if people can't afford it. She's already inspired you and me and Chrissy to be like, that's the coolest shit we've ever heard,
yeah.
right?
Let's
Because
do
if you
that.
become the the go-to for your family,
Mhm.
right? Because they know that you have it, it becomes a huge burden on if there's these discrepancies
Right.
in income and success,
Right.
right? Where the fund really kind of
Evens the playing
allows
field.
people to
Yeah.
give when there's a need in the family for things that somebody's struggling, unplanned expenses, that kind of thing, death in the family, whatever it
Right.
is,
Yeah.
they have that fund to be able to contribute to things. And I just think it's just a really cool concept that
Yeah.
can help keep people from being really negative in their family culture to having a really positive come together
Yeah.
experience. And
It's all about the pressure of it all and the who's gonna do what. I think that's really what pulls families apart during
Mhm.
death, during times of
Yeah.
hardship. Um, People, I think, always wanna do the right thing, but then there's some sort of leftover animosity
Yeah.
potentially. Why am I the one that has to constantly do this? And
Right.
that can be emotionally and financially
Right.
load. You
Sure.
know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not just all financial
Emotional,
too.
physical, financial,
There's
any
all
of
of
it.
it.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think that's a good way to level that. And also just mutual aid in general
Yeah.
in communities.
Yeah.
There's so many places that need assistance. And if you have canned goods to spare, if you have time to spare, like how can we make sure people in the community around you have what they need? Like I would also, outside of my family, love for that to be part of my legacy
Yeah.
is wow, like she really, really cared about making sure other people had what they needed. And it's
Yeah.
something so small. My sister-in-law, my husband's sister, we are starting to do a soup series where we're going to start
Mm.
making soups
Yeah.
like once every other week and take turns picking recipes, and we're making it together, splitting the ingredients and then splitting
Yeah.
the leftovers, and we're feeding ourselves plus Noah. He's so lucky. 'Cause Kate's a really good cook. Um, but little things like that of just building things that you do that you can share,
Right.
I think it's just so important.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree. And my point is that she didn't even know about this list, and here she
Yeah.
made it. Her what she's doing in her family made our list. Um, I just think it's really cool to share these things with the people around you and to continue to have conversation with friends. And, you know, this wasn't a real deep conversation. She just happened to mention it, right? It doesn't have to be a like, let's talk about legacy
Right.
conversation.
Yeah.
But just listening to one another. And it might be, hey, I'm doing these lists. Let's do them together. Wouldn't it be fun
Yeah.
to compare them? And how can we make them come true for each other in any way, which is part of the point of all this process. So,
Yeah.
um, let's see. Be a strong matriarch of my family. I told you that one. Food forest donation. building family traditions that span generations. I want to be known for my kindness and how much I love to play and love children. Um, I want to have inspired someone to change their life and support as many as I could to do so.
Love that.
Help somebody achieve a dream. Be a person that my family speaks of proudly. I said create a family mission statement. That's one of mine.
Love that.
Like,
I love a mission statement.
to give direction to how we are in the world and what we stand for and what we're going to create. Create a safe space for family gatherings that will be preserved. Hopefully we'll be
done,
here.
Done and done.
This will be one that I hope somebody hears and says, "Oh my God, I want to do this." I would love to create or support a new way. And my daughters and I have talked about this many, many times, of fostering children that revolves around them and not being displaced all the time. And unfortunately, that tends to look like the old foster homes where they had them all in one space and people would come and go, but more like the child has the home and caregivers can come and go until they're adopted into families, right? The goal is to adopt them, but foster parents are few and far between. It is a money grab for a lot of people, so it ends up the kids don't really get good care taken of them. Not always foster parents don't come after me. I understand there's really great foster parents out there. As a nurse from Children's Hospital for 30 years, I understand. But I saw both sides.
Right.
I saw people who were really there, obviously, to get just paid, and there were people who really cared about their foster kids and what was happening to them, and they weren't in it for the money, like everything, right?
Right.
But our system is broken, and there's not enough of us, and a lot of kids get displaced, and a lot of kids don't have enough transition help once they come out of the system. You know, as we all know, parenting doesn't stop at 18 for those of us who have kids older than 18 years old. We help our kids off to college. We help them navigate picking careers. We help them, you help them when they get to be parents the first time and they're with their children. And so parenting doesn't just stop, but a lot of times for foster kids, once they get out of the system, a lot of them end up in really terrible situations. So our system is broken. I would love to see a creative solution to our current system that really revolves around keeping children together, safe, and not about where can we put them and is that place safe, and possibly not. And it's already traumatic what these kids go through, much less to put them with somebody who's supposed to be taking care of them and they deliver them more trauma. And unfortunately, that happens a lot more often than any of us like to believe. So, that was a weird one, but
no, it's good. A good one.
Be more directly involved in my immediate community. And that on Tame's Blossoms be a successful podcast, reaching lots of women and making a difference. That was 24.
Wow.
It was number 24 on the list.
2 for me.
Continue to support local sustainability, not only food, but consumerism as well. Be a good neighbor. Random acts of kindness as much as I can. I hope some of the kids I took care of in my nursing career were forever changed or impacted from me being a good nurse to them and their family.
I love that.
Yeah. I hope the story of my career will inspire others to seek wellness and not just disease management. Another one. That's kind of the juice of mine is around nursing and hoping that impacted people in a positive way in some ways. I do believe that what nurses do ripples through people and families, especially pediatric nurses, for a long, long time. When you take care of somebody's kid, it stays with them.
Totally. Yeah. So, absolutely.
Well, some more yours.
This podcast was 2. Number 1 was weightlifting.
I'm sorry. Are you offended that mine was 24?
I'm not offended. I'm just surprised.
Sorry.
Not as surprised as most people will be to hear my number 1 was weightlifting. But let me explain. I come from a line of women, half of which badass, climbing trees when they're 90. The other half very sick and very not bodily capable of doing many things.
Yeah.
Whether that be cancer, whatever diseases, it's half and half for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I am just hellbound that my legacy will be strength.
Yeah.
Like, it will be strength. I will prioritize my fitness. For me, that's weight training, as my current knee injury is showing. Any kind of cardiovascular activities result in me always getting injured. So I will eventually have to reevaluate how I'm pickleballing. Um, anyway, so strength is the key for me,
Yeah.
making myself very strong. And I will never, ever jeopardize that in my life ever again. It
Yeah.
will always be number one. I have let it slip a few times off and on, or done it really the worst way possible, but it will not be, she was the tiniest girl I ever saw. It will be, she's kind of scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want, whether it be my nieces, hopefully if I have a daughter one day, my friends' daughters, I want them to see me and say that's what a strong woman looks like. And it doesn't have to be emotionally strong. It doesn't have to be, you don't
Right.
ask for help, although I'm not great at that either. But the
Yet.
physical, yeah, the physical strength part is important for
Yeah.
me. So
Yeah.
I want people that are around me that are younger, and especially women, to say like, "Oh my gosh, like I can be really, really strong. I
Yeah.
don't have to worry about being small in this world,
Right.
right? I can take care of myself by being physically
Strong.
strong."
Yeah.
And that is my number one most important thing for me based on my
Yeah.
experience. I want to be like some of the women in my family that were climbing trees when they were 90. That's what I want to be. A lot about the earth. I won't go into all of those, but one other thing that I did write, which is gift giving habits and environmentalism, which also leads into continuing skills throughout generations like crocheting, ceramics, canning, etc.
Yeah.
You know, I would really, really, really love to end the cycle of needing things. That's gonna be very, very hard for my husband, but I really, really would love to change the way we gift give in my family, and
Mhm.
it be something you made, something thoughtful, something that you put your heart and energy into
Yeah.
versus things, or not giving anything at all because you're like, well, they already have what they need. It's not about that. It's
Right.
about showing someone with something physical that you love them and care for them, but
Right.
something either you made or an experience together.
Right.
I just think that's so, so important. And, you know, I feel about consumerism. Everyone listening to this podcast knows how I feel about consumerism and capitalism. So, you know, everyone this year, I'm learning. Mark my words. I should be doing this right now if you're listening. If you're listening to this podcast and you have not seen me talk about my sourdough starter on my Instagram, come at me. Because at this point, I should already be learning it.
Yes.
I am doing and learning how to make sourdough breads, and everyone's getting fucking
Yes.
sourdough
Yes.
for Christmas because I'm learning how to do it, and it's gonna be
Mhm.
awesome, and it's gonna be delicious, and everyone's getting
Yes.
sourdough, and it's gonna be great.
Yes.
And that is
Yes.
something I'm gonna continue to be really passionate about, is how do we change that so that we're supporting the environment, the
Mhm.
earth,
Our
showing
bodies.
our bodies, showing
Mhm.
love, and learning skills
Right.
that are important. There's so many things, there's so many lost skills that are happening right now
Mhm.
in this earth
Yep.
because of the way we've escalated through technology, which I'm never going to hate on that because I think it's also just that's how it happens.
Right.
It's
Right.
fine. But we need to make sure we're learning and remembering how to do some of these trades and these
Right.
skills. It's so, so important. So those kind of all go together for me. I just really want to make sure that that is
Yeah.
front of mind.
Yeah.
And then I would say the last thing on the list, I think, is separate from all of those. A lot of them fall in those categories, but it's just remaining alcohol free. I never want. I'm so grateful that I got sober when I did. How old am I? 39. I got sober when I was 33. No, 36. I'm so grateful
Yeah.
that I got sober in my 30s. Of course, I wish I would have been younger, but I'm very grateful that it was in my 30s where
Yeah.
I had a time.
Right.
That is going to always be so important to me that
Yeah.
I continue talking about sobriety and how important it is and not letting people get away with. I'm not even going to shame anybody. Let me say that. But not getting away with like, well, like I don't have a problem. Like it's fine. Like I just drink for fun. Like not allowing those conversations people I love to have
Mhm.
around without saying something.
Yeah.
And not to shame them or whatever, but just showing them a different way. Like, you
Yeah.
can actually have fun without doing that, actually.
Yeah.
"Hey, let's go do this thing. It's so fun. We're not gonna drink.
Yeah.
Let's go let me demonstrate to you what that looks like." Because the notion of what we need to be able to relax and have fun
Right.
is something that I don't want anyone around me to believe anymore.
Right.
So,
Because it's not true.
it's not true.
Yeah.
Not true at all.
Absolutely.
And alcohol ruins families.
Amen to that, sissy. Amen to that. Cheers to that.
Cheers to
For
that.
those of you who want
Coffee.
coffee and tea.
Coffee and tea.
Those are great lists.
Yours are
Those are
great.
great lists.
Yeah. It was hard.
It was really hard, y'all. This one was really hard. We have Wanderlust, so the travel one for us was like
easy.
I could have, and I think I want to say this, and the gentleman who started this also said this, is that it's okay if you have nothing in some of these categories, but you have a whole new category once you start making lists that appears that is not in the categories that we've given you, right? So it's not a matter of forcing yourself to come up with 38. I could have put 138 in the travel one.
Yeah.
And I think Amanda's in the same boat because
Yeah.
we love travel and we love adventure and we love going places.
Yeah.
So this is not meant to make this hard. It is meant for you to really push and expand your brain past 2. And because we have a goal of 30, it forced us to do that. Otherwise, I probably would have stopped at 5 or 6.
Right.
And I ended up with 30. I didn't make it to the 36 in this category. And we have a lot of financial goals and a lot of things. But when you really start thinking about lifestyle and legacy, then I started to try to I felt like all of mine were really, really, really big.
Yeah.
And the whole point of this list is to have some really small ones too, which is why I'm like, start a family trust, things that are a little more tangible in the now, and also the big ones. The big ones are good too. I'm not saying not do that, but sometimes you want to think micro, not
Sometimes
macro.
Sometimes you want to think Batman.
Sometimes you want to think Batman. Then sometimes you just want to be like, what can I do for my neighbors?
Yeah.
Right? Like I want to be a nice neighbor.
Yeah.
And that one came out of because my neighbor's son had a wedding. And this is how these lists come about. And she was like, you guys are the best neighbors, because I knew that it was her son's wedding that morning. Now we live on 5 acres. We didn't even hear them. It wasn't a disruption in any way.
Yeah.
But I sent her a text and I was like, May today, be stress-free and everybody have a wonderful time and full of love and joy. Congratulations. And she was like, oh my God, I can't believe you reached out. Thank you so much. This means a lot to me. Stan also, we didn't know this about each other. Stan also had reached out to her husband and said, hey, good luck with the wedding today. Hope everything's fine. So in reciprocity, one of them, they are Polish, and he was marrying a Persian, maybe? She was stunning. My point is there was the treats, the sweet treats, were homemade Persian cookies and homemade Polish cookies. And she brought us a whole container of them for being nice neighbors.
Yeah.
And it was so sweet. And they were so good. I was like, nom, nom, nom. So, and I've had more neighborly experiences since we got out here than I ever had in suburbia.
Right.
And I told my husband that, and he's like, well, I don't think that's because people don't want to be neighborly in suburbia. I think people are trying hard for separation in suburbia because you're so on top of everybody. And I never thought about that.
Yeah.
And that here, you want connection because you need it, because you're so far away from people, like you need, hey, I don't want to run in a half hour to get eggs. Do you have extra eggs? Or do you have, thinking of people when you go in. My other neighbor just brought us, that was on the podcast. She was like, I'm going to Lynn's farm. Do you like this kind of apple? They usually sell out quickly. I'm going to grab them today. Do you want a bag? Yes, please.
Yeah.
She wouldn't let me pay her for them, of course. The other neighbor brought me fresh laid eggs.
Yeah.
That she had extra because they were going out of town.
Yeah.
From her chickens. I mean, it's so cool. But I also started that when we first moved in, and we'd only been here for 2 months, and we baked fresh bread and took them all on Christmas morning, fresh bread.
Yeah.
And because I'm like, what do I get them? I don't know any of them.
Right.
Bread.
Yeah.
Everybody loves bread. Everybody loves fresh bread. Everybody loves fresh baked bread.
You don't like bread? I don't trust you.
Yeah. Everybody loves fresh baked bread. So it just started. And now I just feel very blessed that I'm in that circle of people that are looking out for you and paying attention. But also, My neighbor will come out and not make eye contact or say hi to you if he sees you out, if you don't say hi to him. Like
Yeah.
there's this respect thing of not having to engage every time you come
Right.
out because that's the reason you live out here.
Right. Totally. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the best of both worlds, right? So, and that's what my husband's like, I love that dude. He just keeps his head down, and every
Yeah.
now and then we'll speak to each other and say hi and have a
Yeah.
conversation, but it's not a daily, you don't feel like you're not that close that you feel like you have to have a daily conversation about. So it's the neighbor thing. And that came up just because and
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to be a good neighbor.
Yeah.
I just want to be known as a good neighbor.
I think that goes right back to just showing up authentically
Mm-hmm.
as yourself. And I think about how often we worry about other people's perceptions of us, and
Yeah.
then that causes us not to do the thing or do whatever. And I just had this conversation with my coworker yesterday. It's like, when I want to share something or be vulnerable, I immediately think of, what are they going to think based upon conversations they've had with me about other people?
Mm.
Right. So, like, I go through a very thorough recall of conversations. And I'm like, if I share this with this person, what can I assume they're going to perceive based upon what they perceived of others?
Yeah.
And then, if this is something I don't want a lot of people knowing, how often do they share information with me
About other
about
people.
other people that I feel like, oh, I bet they don't want other people knowing that? Like, I will
Yeah.
go through that whole gamut.
Well, in some ways that's good, right?
It's some
Like you don't
it's
want to be vulnerable and share something that you feel like somebody's not gonna, if that person hasn't demonstrated that they're trustworthy.
totally. It's exhausting every time you want
Yeah.
to say anything about yourself that you
Okay.
need to know
Well,
this.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
And if you're a Riley, then there's suddenly a list of a lot of things you want no one knowing. You know what I mean? You're like, no
Yeah.
one will know any of this information.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've learned some pretty valuable lessons this last year of trust and of being vulnerable. And at the end of the day, like, all you can do is show up and be yourself. And I have a great coworker who bullied me so bad yesterday, and I deserved it, and was like, "You will follow me to this Walgreens. I am going in. I am getting you this pain quill since you cannot take pain medicine for your knee.
Yeah.
And here's some lidocaine." And then also came over like late last night and was like, that knee brace was too loose on you today. Here's an ace bandage and some apples. Take it. I'm leaving. And left. Didn't even come to my house. Yelled at me, threw up the thing. No one answered the door. And I thought it was so funny. I'm like, wow, it's so interesting. I've known her for only a year and she knows how to bully me so well because she knows my shit already.
Yeah.
Like, she knows
Yeah.
my shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? No
Yeah.
fuss, no muss. And it's interesting when you think of how you want people to remember you by, and like, what do you want to do? And you think, like, do I really want people to be like, wow, she was a stubborn bitch about everything with her health? Like, she literally wouldn't do anything for her own health. But then she talked all the time about her health. How fucking annoying is that? I don't want to be that person, like the one that constantly is like, I love the gym. I love being healthy. I love taking care of myself. I don't drink. I won't diet again. Then I'm like, could be a torn kneecap.
I refuse to see anyone.
I
I'm going
refuse
to
to see
ice it and
anybody.
elevate it and it'll be fine.
It will be fine. I bet people are like, the fuck? So, it's often good to reflect on some of your behaviors while you're making these lists and thinking, am I really that much of an ass?
No,
I might be.
you know,
Like,
you're
not in a bad way,
okay.
but
First of all, you're being really hard on yourself currently. Second of all, you have a real phobia
yeah, I thought I was
of
having a heart attack
medical
and I had to make
doctors.
you come over and tell me to go to the doctor.
You,
Okay.
you, but it's not because you just don't want to go see doctors. You have a true phobia, and that's okay. Of that environment, first of all, what doctors are going to do to you, having anything inserted into your skin, i.e., IV shots, injections.
Tats
you
are
don't
fine.
love it. Tattooing seems fine. But there's a lot of people who have tattoos that are not okay with injections. A ton of them, and it happens all the time in the health world.
Yeah.
You have a true phobia of what they're going to do to you.
Yeah.
And you don't want that. And so you're avoiding it at all costs, not because you're being an asshole. You really do value your health so much. You have such a phobia, one would say, that you do all of the other things to avoid that.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you have to be interfaced with that on top of what you're doing to avoid it, it makes it worse for you.
A lot of gymnastics happening mentally over here.
Yeah, yeah. So I
All I'm
wouldn't you
saying,
don't just avoid it to be avoiding it to be an asshole. You're.
I appreciate it, but it's again doing these lists. I do feel like help you think a little bit too about like
Yeah.
I'm always worried about perception and what people think, but like what are my behaviors showing up like? You know what I mean? What
Yeah.
am I? And so it was
Yeah.
a good reminder though too of like, well, how can I be all about mutual aid and helping the earth and doing all these things when I literally won't ask for help unless like people can like
Yeah.
visually see I need help. Like that's
Yeah.
also not helping anybody because then people that need help are afraid to ask for help
Yeah.
because they've seen me demonstrate my inability to ask for help. So then why would they ask me for the help if they need it, knowing that I would be too proud to do that?
Yeah.
I don't.
Cycle.
It's a cycle, totally a
Yeah.
cycle. So
Yeah.
I just
It's good
think
to self-reflect. I'm not saying that
totally.
you shouldn't be. I'm just saying like there's a lot of layers to it that
An onion.
you may be really harsh on yourself and not everybody sees it that way completely.
Yeah.
Observing you
Yeah.
is what the people who know and love you. That's why I didn't push your knee after I texted you yesterday and I was like, kiss emoji, your body, your choice.
I was
That
like,
look
damn right, Christy, as I'm sitting
that
there
looks
wincing every time I breathe.
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
that looks really bad. I showed it to your brother and he was like
it was the swelling was
her
alarming yesterday.
her knee was twice the size of the other one. She was
Not
red,
even just my knee,
bruised.
but like my whole
Oh,
thigh
yeah,
grew.
yeah. The entire
Yeah.
leg was in distorted shape, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Holy hell!" I had no idea it was that
We
bad.
all
So,
if I'm not going to the gym, please know that my leg looks like this.
oh, we
Because
know.
that's the only reason I would not
Dude,
go.
anytime you call off from the gym, we know that it is dire.
So I just had to
We all know.
I just had to make you guys aware that this was not a situation where I tweaked it. It was I can't stand up to even
Yeah,
do a
yeah.
shoulder press
No,
or a lateral raise. So,
right.
I just yeah, I just want everyone to know that I wasn't being a little bitch. Well, I really am excited to continue these. We still have
Yeah,
6 more to go.
yeah,
6
yeah.
more lists.
We've started our next one is the creative endeavors and artistic. No, creative
Yeah.
ideas and artistic
Yeah.
things. So all things creativity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
I'm already struggling with this list too.
This one's a little bit easier for me,
Yeah.
but things I'm pretty sure are going to be hard for me. Easy to write, hard to execute, so
Yeah.
stay tuned.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm finding like, yeah, I'm just, for whatever reason, I'm having more of a block on this one than any of
Yeah,
them so far, which is strange.
totally.
So,
You're
but
very creative.
working. But it would be like you were struggling with coming up
Right.
with 30 creative ideas that you would like to accomplish in your lifetime.
Yeah.
Why? Okay.
Well, they're hard. Wait till you do it. And I really encourage you, if you are working through these, please, like, if you want to share a few of them and tag us, we'll
Yeah,
share them to
please
our
do.
stories to
Yeah.
help give other people inspiration. You
Yeah.
don't have to share your whole list, but if you want to share a few things, wow, we would really, really love to do
Yeah.
this as a community for Untamed Blossoms versus just like us rambling on to you guys. Like, this is supposed to help inspire
Right.
you and then other people that you know, because if we all spent the time at the end of this year to really take a look at the things we wanted to accomplish, that's how we elevate everyone, the vibration, the earth. Like, we all can play a huge part of the collective by really taking a look at ourselves and our
Yes.
family and our neighbors. So
Yes. Yeah. I agree with all.
if this resonates with you, please share.
Get all of your neighbors involved, friends, family, sisters, mothers.
Yeah.
Have everybody do lists with you. This would
Have a
be a
little
fun
get
family.
together, mix soup.
This would be a great like thing to do leading up to Christmas, and it's what you guys talk about. Everybody brings their list to a Christmas gathering.
Totally.
If you do nothing else for us all year, this would be an amazing experience for you guys
Totally.
to do with your family.
Absolutely. Remember to give us a follow on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and iHeart.
Absolutely. Share this. Give us a review. We would love it. Send us all of your ideas. We can't wait to hear from you.
Love you.
Love you guys.